So this video is obviously going to have spoilers for every book in the Wheel of Time. One spoiler from each. So if you're not caught up on Wheel of Time, or I guess if you've DNF'd the Wheel of Time but are watching the show and just don't care, but then it'll still spoil the show. So if you haven't read A Memory of Light, well, you can watch up to the book it's on if you want. I'm not going to spoil book 8 while I'm talking about book 7, etc. So if you've read, if you're on like Crossroads of Twilight, you can watch the first 9. Anyways, if you watch past where you are, there will be major spoilers. Let's get into it. So, there are 14 Wheel of Time books, and theoretically, they're all going to be adapted. We'll see. I'm not sure how many of these are actually going to make it into the final show, because this is obviously not a scene-by-scene adaptation. But this is the scene from each book that I am the most excited for. And I don't even know if I should talk about book 1. We've already gotten it. It's Weep for Manetheren. Book 1 was not a book I was particularly excited to get adapted, if I'm being completely honest. That's probably the moment, one of the moments of all these books I'm the least excited for. But that is book 1. Let's get into the ones we haven't actually gotten yet. So for book 2, the scene I am the most excited for is, of course, Flicker, Flicker, I have won again, lose Theron. This is one of the moments where I think I said if they skip it, I'm just rage quitting. Like, it's my favorite moment until book 6, probably. I absolutely love this scene. The show gives us a possibility of seeing not just from Rand's perspective. The only one they probably can't show is Ingtar, because that would obviously spoil, but I both love the scene itself and, like, how it's written and how vivid it is, and it's going to be hard to do for adaptation, but you're going to have to figure it out, Rafe, because you better not bloody skip it. But also how much it affects all the people who've been through it. Like, you can tell, seeing yourself live lives over and over again has an effect on, like, the entire party, and it's fantastic. And so this one, book 2, is not at all a curveball. It is probably the most common answer. Some of these answers are going to be not at all curveballs. Some of them are going to be quite a bit curveballs, at least in my opinion. I don't think some of them are going to be what you would expect them to be. But let us move on to book 3, The Dragon Reborn. So, the moment that I am most excited for in The Dragon Reborn, this one is maybe a little bit of a curveball. I think a lot of people would probably say Matt beating the shit out of Gawain and Galad. A lot of people would likely say, the conflict at the Stone of Tyr. But part of what I enjoy about watching adaptations of books I have read is not just watching them, it's getting to see the reaction of other people watch them. And for that reason, the moment I'm the most excited for is Rand killing, like, the group of people who come up to him when he's sleep deprived and insane, and using Sayadine to make all their corpses bow, and then suddenly you see that there's a gray man. That's gonna be so sick. There's gonna be a lot of Rand moments for this list. Probably like 2/3 of these are gonna be Rand moments, so get used to it. But that's gonna be so sick on TV. That's there's no way they don't have that scene. That's just, you can't not have that scene. There's some scenes that I'm sure, man, it's gonna hurt me that there's no way all of these that I say are gonna actually make it into the show for what we've seen, because it's not a scene-by-scene adaptation. But come on, you gotta have that. It won't take a long time, it won't take a lot of budget, and it'll be sick. Anyways, that is what I'm hoping for book number 3. So book 4 obviously has the most content of the first 4 books and has more potential picks. I could have gone with Perrin fighting Trollocs in the Two Rivers. I could have gone with Riordan, I can't pronounce that properly. The flashbacks with the Aiel history, which is going to be sick as well. I could go with Matt making his deal. The price is paid. But I am actually going for something very early on in the book. And there's 2 moments that I'm not sure about. I actually think I'm going to pick the first one just because I think it'll be really cool. And I remember when I read it on my reread, I was like, this is going to be sick for the show. This is one that, of the first 3 books, this is the one that's most likely to not happen. And it's Rand dueling his own reflection at the beginning of The Shadow Rising. And the other one that I almost picked is him bringing up Kalendor and going insane and trying to, like, revive the dead person. Which is going to be pretty frightening. So both Rand moments, but I just think Rand dueling his reflection, like, could be a really sick scene. It also has potential to be somewhat cheesy if the effects are bad, but I'm hoping they pull it off. This one I'm not sure they'll actually do, but whatever. And book 5 is obviously the circus. No, it's not the circus. Book 5 isn't actually so much a scene. I guess it's kind of a scene, but it is, in general, the addition of To Dance with Jack of the Shadows, the song, and Matt, and, like, the creation of the Band of the Red Hand singing, and the creation of the song To Dance with Jack of the Shadows. I think Wheel of Time has done pretty well for the songs, like Weep for Manetheren and The Man Who Can't Forget were both pretty good. I think The Man Who Can't Forget, there are versions you can find online if you just YouTube it that are better than the actual in-show version, because they, I think, tried to make it actually sound like a song that would be played on, like, an old-timey lute. But, I mean, just whatever actor you get isn't going to be as good as Tom Marilyn was, so I kind of wish they just cheated and made it sound as good as they could and just be like, yeah, bitch, Tom is so good he can make it sound like this with, like, old-timey stuff. Whatever. I want To Dance with Jack of the Shadows. And yes, I want it more than all the crazy stuff that happens in the last third. I like that stuff, but I want To Dance with Jack. Oh, there's actually one more that it could be. This is, again, not actually for watching it, but for watching other people watching it, and it's Asmodean dying twice. Oh, man, because if people really like Asmodean, it's going to be so funny for me to watch. Because he gets, like, struck by lightning when they go into Camelin, and then he gets revived because Rand Bale fires the Forsaken. Crap, what's his name? Forgotten the Forsaken's name. Editing me will put it here. It's really bothering me that I forgot it. Anyways, this guy's, like, tied for the strongest channeler with, like, Rand and Ishamael, and he's not even important enough for me to remember his name. Man, I read The Fires of Heaven recently. How did I forget this guy's name? Does it start with an R? Whatever. It's not important. That's going to be really funny, because then after he gets revived, he'll get killed, like, a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to talk more about this when I get to the book 13 stuff, but obviously the person who kills him is a mystery in The Fires of Heaven. And I hope it is revealed in a similar way just for the memes. Anyways, we're moving on to book 6, which is going to be the most predictable answer. Is not a curveball. The answer is Dumai's Wells. Like, no shit. Ashaman kill. We come. They will pay. I am the Lord of Morning. Kneel and swear to the Lord Dragon, or you will be knelt. And all of that because Dumai's Wells rules. It is not quite my favorite section in the book. I obviously misspoke here. It's the best section of the book. It's not my favorite section in the entire series. It is, of course, my favorite section in Lord of Chaos. Like, obviously, I don't even know what would be in contention. I guess Nynaeve, maybe Healing Logain. Whatever, not close. But I think if I could pick one scene to be in TV show format, like one scene to have a scene, like, to be adapted, it would be Dumai's Wells. It is the scene I'm the most excited for in the entire show. It's going to be sick, both from me watching it and being like, let's go, and also, like, the combination of, like, horror and also excitement. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, Dumai's Wells. We can move on. So book 7 has slightly less scenes that, like, immediately stand out to me as, like, this is obviously what I'll pick. The thing I'm going to pick is one that I think there's a good chance it doesn't make it, but I hope it does. and it is Rand coming back. It's Rand again. Well, book 5 got Matt. It's going to be more Rand now. And it's him coming back to Karheim and seeing, like, Kolavir has, like, taken over while he's gone because she thought he'd been killed. And it's specifically where she's like, you know, what's been done cannot be undone. And he fucking takes her crown off, melts it, and then unmelts it like a damn boss. What a power move. That's the scene I'm most excited for. I don't think the Crown of Swords, like, has that much I'm incredibly excited for. I thought the Samael Rand duel was somewhat lackluster. The Matt stuff, meh. Maybe Matt's duel with the Golem in general, that could be pretty cool. But I'm taking Rand, just absolute power move, melting a crown and then unmelting it. Just being like, anything that can be done can be undone, which makes, here's a reference that some people hear, it won't go spoiler, but warning, tangent approaching. Making the people who, in Realm of the Elderlings, who say, never do what you cannot undo until you've considered what you cannot do once you've done it, really upset. But Rand's just like, yeah, I'm going to do anything that can be done, can be undone. Meanwhile, chemistry is just like, that's not how chemistry works, Rand.
Yes, science!
Get wrecked. Yes, you can melt and then unmelt things, but you cannot reverse chemical reactions. Basically, this is really cool, and Rand would fail Science 10 or Chemistry 11. Get wrecked, Rand. Well, at least he'd get that question wrong. He'd probably fail it, though, because language he speaks it's translated, but it's not actually a language anyone here speaks, so he would struggle. Whatever. This is getting off topic. That's going to be cool. Everyone, I have good news. As a show of solidarity, Vin has decided to sit here and support my video. And she supports my choice for Book 8, which is actually probably maybe even less of a curveball than Book 6, because Book 6 has more other cool stuff to choose from. But Book 8 is, of course, Rand wielding Kalendor and calling down lightning on, you know, the enemy army, and maybe also his army, allegedly, who knows, and going, the storm. Yeah, that is another part that is, it's really Rand's first biggest defeat of, like, the first 8 books, where he just wrecks his own army, and if Bashir hadn't tackled him, he probably would have lightninged himself to death. Kalendor is one hell of a drug. Don't do Kalendor at home, kids. Anyways, that's Book 8, and we're moving on to Book 9, which is also not a curve. Yeah, it's the cleansing of Saidin. Like, this book is carried by this one ultra cool thing happening. So, yes, it's the cleansing of Saidin. It will be the best part of the show. It will be a part that absolutely does not get skipped over. I don't know how they're going to do it justice, considering, like, the absolute ridiculous power of the Choden Cal, which is very OP. Please nerf. But, with the Choden Cal is one of my favorite chapters in the entire series, and it's in terms of just how wild it is and how crazy it is. It may be, like, even crazier than Doom Eyes Wells. It's just not as good of a book as Doom Eyes Wells is. Well, some people love Winter's Heart, but, well, I like Winter's Heart, but not comparatively to most of the other Wheel of Time books. But Book 9, it's obviously this. I don't even know what else I would pick. Anyways, now, Book 10 is probably going to be, like, the single hardest one for you all to predict, because what happens in Book 10? And also, the next one will be, like, the single most likely to be cut, because I'm fully convinced Book 10 is going to be, like, 30 minutes. It's going to be, like, half an episode. Well, they'll probably move the chronology around, so a lot of Book 10 will actually happen before the cleansing of Saidin. Yeah, but whatever. Let's go to Book 10. Okay, Book 10. I do have an answer. And this is a moment that I actually think is one of the funniest moments in the series from a pure irony perspective, but no one else seems to care about it. And it is the Aes Sedai meeting with Egwene, where they're discussing these two serious problems, and they like have such a noble solution where they have to be sacrificing for the good of the world. And it's where they're discussing like, oh no, there's this Forsaken super weapon, and also all the guys are going crazy because of the taint of Saiyajin. Which, neither of those are a problem. Like, Saiyajin was cleansed, and the Forsaken super weapon was just Rand with the Choden Cal. So it's the most Aes Sedai thing ever to just be like, to assume it's like a Forsaken super weapon and be like, we shall be noble and we shall bond the Ashaman as warders, as a great self-sacrifice for the good of the world. I was just laughing my ass off for that entire scene. I was just like, bloody Aes Sedai, you morons. Anyways, so this is not going to be in the show. Almost certainly. Like, this is such a small scene. It just randomly happens in book 10. This will probably be cut. But I still want it to be there. I think it's really funny. And I hope it doesn't get cut. So we're moving on to book 11, which is also hard to know what I'm going to say because of how much crazy shit happens in book 11. Okay, book 11. It could be Matt reunifying with the Band of the Red Hand, but it is not. It could be Theron seizing Saiyajin from Rand and obliterating the Trollocs, but it is not. It could be Rand getting Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, and losing his hand to Semirog, but it is not. It is my girl Nynaeve unleashing the Golden Crane. My name is Nynaeve T. Almera Mandragoran. The message I want sent is this. My husband rides from World's End towards Tarwin's Gap, towards Tar Mong Gaidal. Will he ride alone? That is right. That is the moment I want to see the most for the absolute chills. Let's go. Yeah, I'm excited about the Golden Crane. I'm really, really, really excited about the Golden Crane. It's one of my favorite chapters in the entire series. It's actually not just that for Nynaeve. The Rand part for the first half of that chapter is also straight fire. And right before that is the Loyal chapter. Oh, why don't we get more Loyal chapters? That section of Knife of Dreams is so good. So yeah, that is my pick for book 11, Knife of Dreams. It also could be Logain being all mourn if you must, but mourn on the march to Tar Mong Gaidal. But that's not up there with the other ones. That is good though. Anyways, so yeah, it's the Golden Crane. We are going to move on to book 12 now. And so we get to the Gathering Storm, my favorite book in the Wheel of Time. I guess the favorite part of that book is Rand just kind of sitting there. So that isn't my pick for this. There's quite a few cool things in this. Hinderstrap, I hope, in the show could actually be really cool. I am going to pick the Varen reveal. It's not going to be a particularly visually shocking moment, but again, for the watching other people watch Wheel of Time, the Varen moment is my single favorite plot twist in the series, and one of my favorite plot twists ever in fiction. It's ridiculously amazing, and I think the reaction people have to that who have not read The Gathering Storm is gonna be pretty insane. Honorable mentions would be Rand bale firing the entire place trying to kill Graendal. And if you want to hurt people, Rand almost bale firing Tam. Or, just generally Rand having a bad time. But my pick is going to be Hinderstrap. I think Hinderstrap is... No, not Hinderstrap, sorry. Is the Varen reveal. I think it's going to be one of the, most shocking twists to the people watching the show who haven't read the books. And I, as a book reader, am going to have... And everyone watching this... We are all going to have joy getting to watch other people react to it. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to get to be so smug about it while we're watching it. Might record people like people did for some scenes in Game of Thrones. We'll see. But that is my pick for book 12. And now Towers of Midnight. This is actually, in my opinion, one of the hardest choices because there's no single moment that stands out. Well, I think what I'm going to pick is probably the obvious choice. It's probably Tower of Genji. But there's so many things that I think are going to be really cool. And I unfortunately, I don't think some of them are going to make it, or at least they'll happen differently. Like the Nynaeve Aes Sedai test. And then after, where she basically tells Egwene, like, yeah, or she tells Aes Sedai, like, no, I'm not going to promise not to use Balefire, you damn morons. Like, I might be fighting in the last battle. What if it comes to a situation where I have to use Balefire, or literally the pattern gets destroyed, you dumb asses? And where she's kind of like, no, we prioritize the institution of the tower too much. So that's great. Looking forward to that. Tower of Genji is going to be awesome, and it's something that has to happen. Meridon is the other obvious one, just from a pure, like, this is cool perspective, or even like the pre-Rand Meridon stuff with like Rodel Iturralde. I really hope they include Rodel Iturralde. I can't see them cutting Rodel Iturralde. Maybe I can see them, but please don't cut Rodel Iturralde. I love Rodel Iturralde. His entire battle and like defense of Meridon was so cool. Could have something with Lan with the Golden Crane. And you could have Rudion Avienda going through the glass pillars and seeing the future. That could be pretty shocking. But I do think I have to just go with the Tower of Genji, which is probably the most basic pick. Actually, what about Rand reuniting with Tam? And, like, apologizing. Just from a pure feels perspective. You know what? Screw you, Tower of Genji. I'm going with Rand reuniting with Tam. I'm more excited for that. That's something they definitely can't. Well, they're not. They're going to have Tower of Genji. There's no way you can get rid of Tower of Genji. But I'm going with Rand reuniting with Tam just for the pure levels of wholesome. The finale, A Memory of Light. Another kind of hard one just because of the sheer quantity of stuff. I am going to be picking, again, this isn't a particularly large curveball. It's land killing Demon Dread. I did not come here to win. I came here to kill you. Oh, that man is a badass. And I love Daniel Henry. I think I might have said his name wrong. I'm sorry. But I love him in the role as Lan. I think he's going to nail it. Maybe they'll actually kill him in the show. Because I know some people kind of go like that moment actually like would be... I actually, as much as I'm happy Lan lived, I kind of feel like it's even more badass if Lan dies there. Wonder if they'll just switch it and kill him in the show. I'd be okay with that. I'll be sad. You know what? Even the possibility of them doing it means I'll be nervous going into it. Now, I wonder if they will do that. Anyways, either way, it's the moment I'm the most looking forward to, just for the sheer levels of badass. 10 out of 10 badass. So, that is it. I am going to... there's some people who might not be watching this entire thing, so I'm going to ask you if you comment what you think would be your moments for you to spoiler tag your comments. So just write what book it spoils and press enter, like 7 times or something, and that way you just won't spoil anyone in the comments. I'm gonna probably leave a pinned comment myself here saying to do this, but if there are any moments that you think I completely forgot about and am an idiot for not picking, or any you think I am an idiot for picking, let me know what you would pick. I'm curious to see what you're most excited for. Also curious if you think like how many of these we're actually gonna get. I think it's pretty clear at this point I'm not gonna get all 14 of these. It just seems very unlikely, especially the Crossroads of Twilight one. But I think we'll get most of them. Or my prediction is we'll get almost all of them, but they will almost all be slightly different. Like we got Weep for Manetheren, but Weep for Manetheren didn't happen the same way. Like it happened with Moraine on the road, kind of saying it while injured, instead of like spinning with glowy stick to impress the people in Edmund's Field. I think it's probably going to be similar with a lot of these where we will get it. It will just happen differently. But let me know what you think down below. I enjoyed coming up with these. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Have a nice day, everyone. Yeah, who's a good kitty? She's an extremely cute cat. this is content. This is definitely staying in the video.